Hi, I'm Chef Shalhoub and welcome to my kitchen. Today I want to show you how to cut an onion without crying and also to keep you from contaminating your food and your cutting board, how to julienne celery, and how to chiffonade spinach or basil leaves. Those are just three really important items that you need to know. So let's get started with the onion. I like to give the onion some designations here, like this is the top part that grows up out of the ground and this is the bottom that grows in the bottom of the ground. So I like to call this the South Pole and this is the North Pole. So before you do anything, you want to get rid of a little bit of this. It's going to make cutting and peeling the onion a lot easier. So let's do the South Pole, and you don't need to take a whole lot. And then you want to get rid of this as soon as possible. Just put it in your trash bowl because this part actually has dirt and germs and spores in it. So you don't want to cut through there and you don't want it to contaminate anything. So just turn it around and cut off a little bit of the North Pole. Okay? Always put your knife blade away from you whenever you put it down. So now it doesn't matter if you cut from the top or the bottom, the north or the south, it doesn't matter. But you want the poles sitting down or facing up, and you're going to go right through the middle. Just be very careful, just go nice and slow. Okay, and I'm going to work with half of the onion today at a time. And then you want to take off this hard outer peel, because if you try to cut through it, your knife is going to slip and you could cut yourself, so it comes off very easily. Now, what we want to do is this is the part that had the root, and this is going to hold your onion together while you're cutting it. So you want to kind of like face this away from you, and you can notice the striations here on the onion, so that gives you a clue as to what you're going to do next. So we're just going to cut thin slices, okay, but we're not going to cut all the way through because we want that root end of the onion to hold it together so it doesn't go flying all over the cutting board. This is why you end up crying, is because all of those vapors from the onion are very irritating to your eye, and the more you chop it, the more it's going to irritate you and evaporate into your face. So now you want to turn the onion, so now these lines are horizontal. You want to squeeze it together, keep your fingers out of the way, keep them curled. And usually small dice is really good. If you want really tiny, tiny dice, all you have to do is just cut it and just go over just a little bit. You don't want to do too much. Okay, so then you have this nice small dice. Now, there is no reason in the world why you have to cut this way, all the way across. Absolutely does nothing for the onion, totally unnecessary and a little dangerous. If you want larger dice onion, then you just go over a little bit more and you just cut them a little bit larger. It just depends on what you want to do. Okay, so and it's just that simple. And it's a very easy item. You don't have to go back over it and recut it. That's just going to make you cry even more. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of this part. You can actually cut this part out. Okay, so here we have the other half of the onion. Now you notice how, it's kind of like a circular type of thing here. If you wanted to have semicircles in your onion, for your onion, like you would put it in a salad, it looks really pretty with semicircles or slices, then instead of doing the slices this way, following the lines of the onion, just go ahead and turn it so these striations are horizontal to you and just make very, very thin slices. For some reason, raw onions in a salad, especially a red onion, tastes really, really good when they're cut very, very thin and looks very pretty in a salad. And there you have sliced onions. Okay. You could cut in the other direction if you wanted to. Okay, but sometimes you're going to get this little button end is going to like attach itself, and then you have extra work. So I kind of prefer just to do it this other way. Okay, so now we have this fancy term called chiffonade. And chiffonade basically means to make like something like confetti. You're going to cut it very, very thin slices, so like strings of confetti. So I'm going to show you first with some spinach leaves, just to give you an idea. And what you want to do is stack your leaves up all in the same direction, and then you want to roll them up as tightly as possible. Then you take your knife and you want to do this kind of like this rocking motion, and you just want to slice through. Keep your fingers curled, and if the knife is up against your knuckles, you can control the space, the distance of it a lot easier. Okay, and so then you have confetti. Makes a very, very nice garnish. Now let's say, for instance, you want it chopped smaller, then you can. You just bunch it up and you just chop. And so you notice how I have my hand, my dominant hand is doing the up and down chopping motion, and my other hand is on top controlling the pressure of the knife. And there you have small dice on your leaves. Okay, so traditionally when we say we want to chiffonade something, it's usually basil. And this is not the biggest leaves of basil I've ever seen, but it's okay. All works out just the same. All right, so you stack your basil leaves, and you see how they have a natural tendency to curve. So what you want to do is turn them so they're bottom side up. Just makes it easier to roll it up. Same idea. And just keep your fingers curled, and if your knife is up against your knuckles, you can control how wide the cuts are. And there you have it. This is great for when you're making bruschetta, or if you want to put basil on top of pizza. Celery is a really nice vegetable for putting in various foods. Egg salad, tuna salad, potato salad. And you need to small dice the celery. It's just better if it's small dice. Most people, what they'll do is they'll just go and they'll start chopping the celery, because this is what they see. So they'll chop the celery, and then they go, oh, then they have to chop it this way and that way. And that's like, wow, what a lot of work that is, and you don't get even pieces. So we're going to do a cut called julienne. It sounds like a girl's name. And julienne means to make very thin strips, like match-like strips. So you want to work with a piece of celery that's manageable. You don't want a really long piece. Your first thing to do is then you want to do very thin strips. So just kind of like follow along with the curvature of the celery. Keep your fingers curled, because that will help you make sure you get nice thin strips. Now look at this, isn't that nice? If you feel like it's not quite thin enough, okay, then you just lay it flat and you can cut it again, okay, but it looks pretty good. Okay, now, so you've got julienne, and this is good for certain things, for garnishes, etc. But usually what we want to do is small dice the celery. And by small dicing, now you have it all together, it's all even, nice small thin strips, and then you curl your fingers, you get it set to where you want it, and then you do this nice rocking motion where you bring the knife back and slide forward, and you just kind of like inch it forward so you're at an angle a little bit. Keep your fingers curled. And go slow at first, but then you can go a lot faster once you get the hang of it. Never take your eyes off of your target. Look at that. That is perfect. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning how to cut an onion properly so you don't cry, how to julienne celery, and how to chiffonade basil leaves and spinach leaves. Thank you.